Hello, today we will talk about our trip to Yellowstone and Grand Teton.
We started our trip with a flight from Atlanta to Denver on Frontier Airlines. After landing, we picked up our rental car from an off-airport Enterprise location, which saved us a lot of money. Around 5 p.m., we began the drive toward Casper, Wyoming, making a quick stop at Terry Bison Ranch to see some bison. The drive offered great views of rolling hills and the Rocky Mountains in the distance. We chose Casper as our overnight stop because it was a convenient halfway point to Yellowstone and had plenty of hotels and restaurants. We arrived around 9 p.m. and got ready for the first full day of our adventure.
We left Casper at around 6 a.m. and headed toward Yellowstone's east entrance, making a quick stop at Hell's Half Acre, a unique landscape featured in Starship Troopers. We entered Yellowstone around 11 a.m. using our America the Beautiful Pass and enjoyed several scenic pullouts near Sylvan Pass and Yellowstone Lake. We also made sure to fill up on gas before entering the park and packed food and water for the day, since services inside Yellowstone are limited and spread far apart. Our first major stop was the Mud Volcano Basin, where a short boardwalk loop of a little over half a mile takes you past bubbling mud pots and geothermal features. Next, we visited Hayden Valley and spent some time spotting bison and elk in the distance. If you plan to stop here, binoculars are definitely worth bringing. I wouldn't spend too much time here since wildlife sightings are common in many parts of Yellowstone, but still not guaranteed. Furthermore, if you notice cars slowing down or pulling over along the road, it usually means they've spotted wildlife nearby, so it's worth keeping an eye out. We then headed to the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. First was Artist Point, which offered one of the park's most famous views with less than a quarter mile of walking. We also visited the brink of Upper Falls, where a short quarter-mile walk lets you stand right above the waterfall, and Lookout Point, which requires only about a fifth of a mile round trip for another incredible view of the lower falls. Our longest stop of the day was Norris Geyser Basin. The must-do Porcelain Basin is about 0.6 miles, but if you have the time and energy, adding the Back Basin Trail brings the total walk to roughly 2.5 miles and lets you see much more of the basin. Before leaving the park, we made a quick stop at Gibbon Falls, an impressive 84-foot waterfall that can be viewed with almost no walking from the parking area. We then exited through the west entrance and drove about an hour and a half to Cameron, Montana, where we stayed at the Dream Drift Motel. We chose this motel due to much lower prices compared to other near hotels and a beautiful view. The drive along Hebgen Lake offered some of the most beautiful scenery of the entire trip and was a perfect way to end our first day in Yellowstone.
We left Cameron around 6:30 a.m. and entered Yellowstone through the west entrance about an hour later. This time, we took the route through Idaho and Tarkey Pass, which offered some different scenery from the previous day. Our first stop was the Fountain Paint Pot, where a short half-mile loop takes you past mud pots, hot springs, and geysers. Next, we visited Midway Geyser Basin, another easy walk of about 3/4 of a mile round trip, where you can get up close to the Grand Prismatic Spring. For the best view, we also recommend the Grand Prismatic Overlook Trail, which is about 1.25 miles round trip with a short uphill climb. Just before noon, we arrived at Old Faithful and were lucky enough to see an eruption after about a 40-minute wait. The walk to the viewing area is minimal, but if you choose to explore more of the Upper Geyser Basin, you can easily add another 1 to 3 miles of walking. We recommend allowing at least 90 minutes here and arriving at the viewing area about 10 minutes before the predicted eruption time. Around 3 p.m., we reached Mammoth Hot Springs. Starting from the Lower Terrace Park area, we explored a route of less than 2 miles total. The walk isn't long, but there are quite a few stairs as you make your way through the terraces. Afterward, we made a quick stop at Undine Falls, an optional roadside waterfall that is easy to miss if you're not looking for it. We then exited through the north entrance and stopped at Roosevelt Arch before driving through the beautiful Paradise Valley in Bozeman. After roughly 2.5 hours on the road, we arrived back at the Dream Drift Motel just before 9 p.m., ending another incredible day in Yellowstone.
We left Cameron around 6 a.m. and drove south through Yellowstone, passing Moose Falls before entering Grand Teton National Park around 9 a.m. Our first stop was the Jackson Lake Overlook, which provides a great contrast of the lake against the Teton Mountains. We then continued to Oxbow Bend, one of the most iconic viewpoints in the park, where you can see the mountain perfectly reflected in the Snake River. Next, we made a quick stop at the Jackson Lake Dam, which offers a different perspective of the lake, with rushing water flowing from the dam outlet on one side and mountain views on the other. From there, we continued to Signal Mountain Overlook, a short drive up the road where a quick walk from the parking area gives you a sweeping view of the Snake River and the entire Teton Range. We also stopped at the Cathedral Group Turnout, which requires almost no walking and offers a close-up view of the most famous peaks in the range. After that, we went to Jenny Lake, where the main viewpoint area is just a short walk from parking, but it can get very crowded during peak hours. We then visited Mormon Row, where a short walk of about a quarter to a half mile lets you see the historic barns with the Teton Mountains in the background. Our final stop was the Snake River Overlook, which requires almost no walking and offers a wide panoramic view of the river winding beneath the mountains. We wrapped up the route in just under 4 hours, around 1 p.m., which gave us plenty of time to continue south toward Rock Springs. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video will help you for your visit.